I'm Dak.
And I'm Em.
And this is Full His House,
your Full House fancast.
And today we are covering Season 1, Episode 19, 7-Month Itch, Part 1. Jesse is fed up with his lack of privacy and family responsibilities, especially when they interfere with his love life. I know we have emotions about this one, but let's just talk general overall thoughts.
Okay. General overall thoughts. This was a good episode. This was an episode that we all kind of saw coming, just based on knowing Jesse's character. And I will leave it there until we hit specific points to start going over, because, there's a lot to go over.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that, you said that you kind of saw it coming. So I'm wondering if others felt that way, but like going back to the conversations we've had previously, it totally makes sense. Inklings of this happening has, come about. So I also don't want to get too deep into it, so we can just go straight into the episode. In the living room, Jesse is on the phone promising his date that they will have the most romantic time together. The family is going to Disneyland, so he has open crib. And as he is on the phone, he trips over the toys. It's kind of like, I guess, symbolic of just how crazy it is in that house. While he is on the phone, he's about to talk about something inappropriate, but Stephanie runs inside about Disneyland, and Jesse tries to calm her down, but she is way too hype. I feel like any parent out there who has taken their child to Disneyland for the first time knows the natural sugar rush that it actually is to be going to an amusement park, Disneyland, anything. So I thought she did great with this.
You know what? Like, I understood the sentiment. The specific sugar rush we're speaking about, though, like, when I was younger, my mom did wake us up and was like, we're going to Disneyland. Like, we took the drive out there and everything. But honestly, it was so early. We just went right back to sleep in the car. Everybody was groggy until we got there.
Oh, that's pretty funny. That's a good point. Danny and Joey walk in, and Joey suggests that we need to switch the kid to decaf. Stephanie is so excited, and she starts rushing everyone out. Danny asks one last time if Jesse is sure that he doesn't want to go, but Jesse insists that he does not go. Stephanie says that she's sorry that Jesse isn't going, but if they don't leave soon, she's gonna go bananas. Jesse and Danny sing Hi Ho as Jesse shoves them out the door, which I thought was kind of funny.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, Hi Ho is a little fun song.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it kind of fit. And I mean, did you see the smile on Danny's face as the door was being closed? He found it funny.
Yeah, it was it's just some purity for the moment. Mm-hmm. Jesse is excited to have the free time. Later on, we see him walk in with his date after playing tennis with her. She let him win, and that is obvious because she has been playing her whole life and he just started, but somehow won all 6 games that they played. That's just crazy.
I think it's hilarious that he could say that out loud and still believe it until she smiled.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of this. Or like letting people win and stuff, but like some partners are out there need it sometimes. But
here's my thing, right? Is like, so let's say if it was this exact same situation, I go on a date with a guy who's played tennis his entire life. We play, and I win all 6 games. I know damn well I didn't win all 6 games. That's just not even really a possibility. I don't want you to let me win. However, I would like to be able to win, let's say, like 2 out of the 6 games would be fine with me, because then I don't feel like a complete loser. You get me? At least I feel like there was a fighting chance, but you worked your entire life, so it makes sense that you're much better than me.
Jesse takes in the silence. Sam lives with her parents, and they've been dating for a month, so this is the first time that they are getting real alone time. Jesse declares tonight they play house and celebrate, and he's going to make her a candlelit dinner and asks if she wants extra crispy or OG recipe, which I think is a reference to KFC or Popeyes. Jesse is making dinner in the kitchen and he's singing Love Machine. Jesse brings her champagne and tries to lure her out of the bathroom, but it does not work. But guess you can't blame him for trying. Jeez. He goes to change, and during this, the family walks in. Apparently, fog has gotten in the way of their plane ride, and Stephanie walks in very disappointed. Danny promises that they will make tonight family fun night right there at home, but Stephanie is just too bummed to, even hear anything.
Don't they usually just delay flights for fog? Because fog can move, fog can come and go. That's a quick thing. It's not always a immediate, we're canceling all flights thing. That's more of a heavy storm. And even then, they usually don't immediately cancel. I mean, I like the idea of them coming back in and us having this whole thing, because obviously we needed this whole thing to happen. Again, we've already discussed that they like to add certain things in there for the sake of plot, and this is definitely one of those things, because with fog, they definitely would have delayed the flight. So they wouldn't have come back so early. I'm sure eventually it could have been canceled, but to be gone for let's be generous and say 4 hours. And it's probably a solid 30, maybe 45, let's say 30 to an hour, because we don't know how far they are from the airport. 30 to an hour to get to the airport and then back.
Yeah, you make a very good point, because I do wonder this too. I'm like, doesn't it kind of seem like that's I assume that maybe they were on a really tight schedule because of a detail that comes in later. That's the only thing that I can think about. It needed to be that flight, or else they just would not have time for anything. Danny says these types of disappointments can be very tough on a 6-year-old, and Joey replies with, "I still can't believe we miss Captain EO," whoever that is. I guess it's the captain of the Matterhorn, because they were also talking about the Matterhorn, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. That's a Before Me reference.
Yeah, something. Jesse is all dressed up in the kitchen, still singing that he's in LM. Which I thought was kind of funny. Upstairs, DJ asks what Steph wants to do, and she says she wants to mope. The boys are upstairs, and Danny walks into the bathroom to announce that they have been fogged in. When he sees I guess it's a teddy hanging from the shower, he asks, "Jesse, do you wear these clothes every time we go out?" And then Samantha pokes her head out, and they are both shocked. Danny says, "Have mercy." Sam introduces herself, and Danny does the same. He says, "I'm Danny." Short for Daniel, long for Dan. And he has an issue leaving. He tries to leave out the door, misses. And he says, "Imagine if you came in and you saw me in the shower, then you really would be sorry." And then he finally leaves.
Yeah, don't forget he also told her that there was something under the cabinet if she wanted to soak her linens. He's so funny. He's so funny.
There's this one moment where he was like, and there's I forget what it is that he's talking about, but there's some of this stuff over there, and he points but doesn't look to the area that he's referring to, and that was just, I loved that. I just thought that was so funny.
Offers her shampoo and conditioner.
Very cool about having a strange woman in your house. Immediately putting together that this was a woman that Jesse had invited over, but still very relatively calm about it, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, look, the way I thought about it is at first I was like, okay, this is really weird and awkward, just leave. But then I thought about it, I was like, oh, this is the first time he's been around a naked woman since his wife. That's why he's acting that way. He doesn't know what to do. He's stunned.
That is a very valid
this
point.
Is the first time he's been around a naked woman in any capacity at all, other than obviously baby Michelle when they're bathing her or whatever. But this is the only time he's been around another woman who is naked, other than his wife. And his wife has been passed away at this point. They we find out a little bit later how long exactly, but it's been a couple of months at this point. So it's yeah, he's kind of just in more shock than anything else. He's not necessarily staring to stare. It's more just staring because he doesn't know what else to do. He just wants to make sure he's looking at her eyes and not looking anywhere else.
In addition to that, this is also a guest in his home, so he does have to make sure that He offers her the appropriate, toiletries available as a guest. Like we love Danny. What can we say?
Love Danny.
Danny calls for Jesse, and Jesse hears him from the kitchen. Jesse is in disbelief. He does this really hilarious slow rise up from the counter with just his angry face on, looking left and right. DJ, Steph, and Joey walk into the kitchen. And this is like right after Jesse leaves. So if you can kind of see how everyone's leaving rooms and then entering rooms just as people are leaving, it's a little bit crazy, but it is, I guess, like a very plausible way for people to just not see each other for a little bit while they're in the same home.
You know what it reminded me of?
That thing?
I mean, kind of, yeah, in a sense. But like the first thing that popped up in my head was like those old Scooby-Doo episodes where you'd be looking down one hallway and there'd be a bunch of different doors.
Yeah, no, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
But I think I'm like, I've heard it that way. I forget what movie. I don't know, but
I feel like that sound in itself has been used in so many different capacities.
That's also true.
It just depends on like what you've seen. And if you've seen different things, that sound specifically is going to bring up different things to your head. But I get what you're saying.
So DJ, Steph, and Joey walk into the kitchen and they see the dinner there and just kind of invite themselves to sit down. And Joey says, "Hey, this is great. We can play Dinnerland," and does this awesome like, and Steph does a face palm, which honestly, I thought that was kind of cool. The little song that he was able to do, like it did kind of sound Disneyland-y. You have to give the man credit.
It did. It was very Disneyland. I'm not upset at it, actually. He pulled that off, and I thought it was very accurate. Like, I mean, look, if you can't go to actual Disneyland, what they did really is kind of like, like second best in its own way, considering where you are. Like, if you were just in the LA area and you weren't able to go to Disneyland, there's other options, but because of where they are, like, you got the best option with where you are,
Right. Yeah. No, I appreciated the effort. Jesse walks down and sees the family at the table with his dinner. And Danny walks down and Joey says, "Hope we didn't ruin your plans." And Jesse's like, "No, sure. No, of course not." And Stephanie says that she hates fog, and Jesse agrees. He also hates fog. So Danny in the living room in the next scene, Danny and the family, including Sam, which I thought was very interesting, are doing a family fun night. And Steph and Jesse give a hot dog to Danny's suggestion of them doing a sing-along. And Danny asks Jesse to play If You're Happy and You Know It. And Jesse says, this is what confused me. Jesse says, "Oh, that was on Motley Crue's Christmas album." Why would If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands be on their Christmas album? Like, you couldn't say Motley Crue's PG album or something? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. That's actually a really good point.
That was on Motley Crue's featuring Sesame Street album or something, like, I don't know, or the EP. Like, there's a cooler, funnier, more accurate way to, I think, tell that joke. But I mean, I guess Christmas paints the family friendly image that they were trying to do.
Christmas. Well, I mean, okay, so I guess if you look at it, right, like I'm sure they would have loved to be able to sing like something Disney related to like give her that Disney feeling, but I think they were trying to avoid copyrights.
Well, also, that could have also made her more sad, because we also see that anytime anyone says dopey or sleepy or grumpy, she freaks out.
That's true.
Yeah, she was not a happy camper.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I also am like a firm believer that if something happens, you should be given a maximum of like 2 hours to mope before you have to just figure out what to do next.
I would give it the rest of the day.
I think 2 hours. As a productive person, 2 hours. But that's just me. You have to set your own stuff. Everybody's different. I give myself 2 hours to mope, and then I got to get over it.
I think that's a healthier way to go about it rather than just letting it ruin your day. I consider myself to be not lazy, but I wouldn't say productive. Like that's just not the word I would use to describe myself. So
See, I am a current lazy and I want to be productive, so I'm like trying to change habits.
speaking it into existence.
Exactly.
Awesome. So they start singing If You're Happy and You Know It. And Joey does a Popeye thing during the second verse, which I think is actually pretty impressive, but Stephanie is not impressed. Danny suggests that if she doesn't think about it, she may not feel so bad. And Danny says he understands, but can't avoid naming all of the seven dwarves. And Steph just runs upstairs, super upset, and DJ immediately follows. And since the girls are gone, Jesse signals for Joey and Danny to bounce. The couple are finally alone, and Sam suggests that they stay in a bed and breakfast tomorrow. And Jesse says he has to babysit the baby tomorrow night. So this is what leads me to believe, like, okay, well, how long were they going to be gone? So they were just going to were they going to go to Disneyland like for the rest of the day and then some tomorrow and then fly back? Or were they going to I guess that's the only way they would be able to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was kind of thinking too, is that like they would probably like fly out there, they'd be out there for the day. They're probably like, by the way that he was able to just kind of like take everybody, they probably even got a hotel like right next to the Disney or in Disney, like at their little resort. Like, you stay there for the day, and then if they want to go early morning, you can. They open up pretty early. You go out there, spend a little bit more time, and then you hop on the plane and you go. Like, that's what I kind of figured, is that it would be a day thing, because they mentioned how, they were going to be spending the whole day together. So I figured, okay, they'll be back sometime tomorrow.
Yeah.
So why would just I guess like a 1 or 2 hour delay change the entire day's agenda?
Yeah, not unless that fog was so thick that it was just, all right, guys, everything for today is just not happening, but I can't see that happening either. So who knows?
No, my mind can't figure out why. And because it can't figure out why, I'm just harping on it. I'm stuck on it.
No, I totally get it. So Sam is understanding, and Michelle walks in while the couple is kissing, and Jesse asks, "What are you doing here?" and gives her $5 to catch a movie. She takes it and leaves, and it's actually really cute.
It's actually really adorable.
Yeah, she's kind of waddling.
Really cute.
Because she can walk, but she's like, she's doing the toddler thing, so it's really cute.
And can I just say, there was more than 5 there, because I counted a 5 and a couple of 1s. So yeah, waddle away as quickly as you can before you realize he gave you way more than what he just said.
Start saving now, kid.
Hey, she's already getting pieces of a DJ in her.
It trickles down. It trickles down. In the girls' room, Steph is upset, and DJ tries to comfort her. She says she understands how it feels to not get what she wants. She references the whole oat boat commercial situation. Steph says, "You chased me around the table and tried to kill me." DJ realizes that it's not the best example, so she busts out the tickle monster to cheer her up. Danny walks in while this is happening and says that he's happy to see her happy, but she says that it doesn't count. And I agree. Tickling doesn't mean I'm happy. I think you're the one who told me that that's a freaking panic response anyway. So
it is.
I find it. That's not.
For a lot of people, laughing is a panic response. And even worse, like if somebody's already feeling some kind of way and you're trying to cheer them up, the thing to do is not to tickle them. That's not going to cheer them up. Most people are going to actually get irritated by that, despite the fact that they're laughing. They're laughing because that's not a controllable part of this.
Right. Yeah. It just, I mean, I get where DJ was coming from with it, but I was just like, man, no, if she's upset, just let her be upset.
Yeah, but it just comes back around to what we were talking about beforehand, how we really like how this family likes to overlook people's emotions because they don't know how to deal with them. So they just wait it out to see if it'll figure its way out on its own, and it doesn't. So then eventually it comes to a head and they have to deal with it.
It's what forces them to talk.
Every time.
Danny says she has every reason to be sad, and he completely understands, but sometimes she won't get what she wants in life. And while she's spending time being sad about the one thing that she's missing out on, she's missing out on other good things. Danny says that she can feel bad for herself or just feel sad for a little while and then get ready for the next fun thing. And DJ suggests that they get Dad with the tickle monster, and he uses if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands to get their hands occupied so they stop tickling him, which I thought was like really cool
The fact
parenting.
that they listened was even better. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was a cute little moment that you can't really be too mad at. But of course, Jesse walks in and sees this. He's disappointed. He walks into his room, and Joey walks into Jesse's room with an ice cream and asks what's wrong. And I do want to point out that Joey multiple times has acknowledged, "Hey, I really hope we didn't ruin your weekend." And he's the only one walking into Jesse's room right now to talk to him because he knows that it's necessary. I think this goes back to your whole theory on Joey that he's a lot more calculated than, others might give him credit to be. I've always known that he was more than just the funny guy, but in this episode, he's the only one who truly understands what Jesse is going through, but he has a completely different perspective, but can still empathize and reach out to him and just try to look out for him. So I do appreciate him just walking in.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
taking that second.
we know Joey to be the one to definitely want to be supportive, and like you said, I definitely pointed out the fact that he's way more than he seems. He's a bit more calculated. He pays way more attention than people realize. And this episode is definitely one of those episodes where it shows that like he's definitely been paying attention. He made sure Joey or Jesse was good with not going with them to Disneyland, and then when they came back, he made sure that Jesse was good with them kind of crashing his weekend. And he checked in with him multiple times knowing that Jesse was lying about him being fine with it. Like they've gotten really close, and you can tell that Joey is in this scene, like, and we'll talk about it in a second as well. Like Joey kind of opens up on his own as well about why he's still there and about why he enjoys being there. And in that moment is why you kind of it's when we kind of understand more as to why he likes being there, why he's decided to stay as long as he has, and why he seems to always be in just a fantastic mood, because for him, this is like the perfect setup. It gives him everything he feels like he's kind of been missing, while Jesse's kind of on the opposite end of it. Joey is supportive in the best ways he knows how to, but he's still going to always be himself through that support. It's one thing I can appreciate about him.
Exactly. And they sit on the bed and to have a man to you conversation, as Jesse would refer to it.
Fair.
And Joey again apologizes about wrecking his night. And Jesse asks him if living there ever gets to him. And Joey immediately says, no, never. Jesse asks why he's happy there. Joey says it's because he didn't have brothers or sisters growing up, and he likes being part of a family and likes having people that he cares about. And Jesse is one of those people. And they always have ice cream in the freezer. Jesse asks, doesn't he ask himself what he is doing? Jesse feels like he went from free to married. Jesse says he realizes he sleeps alone every night. And Joey suggests that they get bunk beds. Jesse says, I am pouring my heart out to you, man. You're making jokes. And says that the whole situation is getting to him. He can't write music. He has no privacy. And he has things to accomplish. Maybe living there is holding him back. Jesse wants to gain control of his life. And Joey says to look at the bright side. They would have never been so close if they didn't move in together. And suggests that he sleep on it. And Jesse thanks his friend. And I think it's like a very adult conversation that they're having, because they are in the same boat. And like you said, Joey didn't get to have this experience when he was growing up. So for him, it is the best situation. And he does want to offer that to Jesse, because that is, true. And that ultimately is what kind of brings it all together. But Joey has already been able to, or walked in with the realization that being a part of a family like this and being able to witness the girls growing up and to be a part of them growing up, there is a lot to gain from that.
But I mean, like, Jesse makes a lot of good points too. Like, he makes a lot of really, really valid points. He's like he said he's, you know, been taking care of himself since he was 16, hasn't had to worry about anybody else. Then he moves in here. He's, you know, he only expected it to be a few months, and there's nothing really wrong with it being longer than that. But he basically a stay-at-home manny. He cooks, he cleans, he takes the girls to their doctor's appointments, to their ballerina stuff, to recitals, to acting, to name it. Realistically, he's there when they're sick, he's there when they had chicken pox. Like he is an additional parent, and all of that was just kind of thrown at him when he thought he was just going to be around to help a little bit. And I think when, especially as like a single guy, he didn't have the real understanding. Like he didn't have any real understanding about what was going to be expected from him when he stepped into the role. And then everything that was expected of him was overwhelming, and it's just now kind of coming to a whole, to like a head in a sense, where he's just now starting to feel all of it. It's like I like to call it snowballing. Like when you let like a small snowball roll downhill and it gradually picks up more and more and more until eventually it's massive and we can't ignore it anymore. It's one of those situations. It's been building slowly, and we've been seeing it. Like he's tried going on dates. He's tried, you know, having a band night at the house because he got stuck babysitting when he was supposed to go to practice. Like he does give up a lot, and he's been doing it consistently, and he's really been doing it without even complaining about it. And it's now that he's got a girl, you know, as they're kind of portraying in this episode, he's got a girl that he really actually cares about, one that he can see himself kind of maybe having a future with. And now he's wondering if he can even have that because he's kind of already stuck in a family situation where he's not sure if he can leave.
And absolutely, I do think that the perspective that Joey has, not everybody can have and does not hold true for everyone. And this is Jesse's process on figuring out whether or not it is for him. And you are absolutely right, because realistically speaking, he is 26, 27 at this point. That is very young. Yes, there are many people who have children younger than that, but there's nothing like being
they're the
in
actual
the situation.
parents as well. They're the actual parents as well. That's the whole thing. If you have kids, you know, at 26, 27, or even younger, it's because you either had the kid or you helped make the kid. It's not because, well, okay, I'm not going to say it's not because I know there are those rare situations where somebody will take in their brother or sister's kid or something like that. Like I know that there are those rare situations, but even those are usually by choice. It's not necessarily okay, I'll do this for a couple of months and now you're a lifetime father.
Right. And that's the point, is that it is being thrown at him in a very sideways way. And there is a lot to, there's a lot to take in when you're, even when you are having, you know, children, or you're in a situation where you're unprepared and you're having children, you at least have that 9-month period to prepare. Whereas in this situation, it was just kind of, it was just life happening and him stepping up to the plate, but only now having the time to soak in that, that decision, because he's seeing that this is that his life, his trajectory of his life is changing. And whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. So he's just, you know, in a point where he has to quadruple check if this is what he wants. But it is also just generally annoying to not have, you know, the personal space and room to grow that you need during this time of your life. So there is a lot of nuance here, but it's what makes it a great episode. And that night, Jesse has a dream. It was Full House's little black hole sun moment. I
love that reference.
It is such a weird, it is such a weird sequence. I do love when DJ walks in and she says that she needs help studying for a test, because like if she studies closer to the test, she won't forget it. So that's why she's doing it in the middle of the night. But obviously it's just a dream. Yeah, I don't think we have to spend too much time talking about the dream, but is there anything that you have to say about it?
I think your black hole sun reference said everything, honestly. I don't know what else to add. That was perfect.
Thank you. It was trippy, and I would like to move on from it. But a great way to just drill in the fact that Jesse is overwhelmed, and he wakes up that morning and says he needs to get out of there. or no, he wakes up that in the middle of the night and says he needs to get out of there. By the time the next morning happens, Joey and Jesse go into his room to try to wake him up, but see that he has left a note saying he needs to get away and doesn't know when or if he'll be back. He doesn't think it's working for him there, and he wants them to tell the girls that he loves them. And Joey asks, Jesse ran away from home? And the girls walk in and ask where Jesse is, and that is the end of the episode. Before we discuss, or to kick off the discussion, I want to say this is where I have an issue with Jesse. You can't just leave kids like that. I just think it's wrong. You are 100% within your rights to leave if you need to, but communicate that. Even if you just tell like Danny and Joe, like, I don't know. No, I just don't think that you leave kids like that, so.
Okay. So I get what you're saying. And I think in this very specific situation as well, leaving like that was really messed up because they had just lost their mom in a sudden way. It wasn't like over time she had cancer and we slowly lost her type thing. Like if I remember correctly, it was more of like a sudden thing. It wasn't a
drunk driver.
Exactly. So it was a very sudden thing. She was there and then she wasn't there. So what Jesse did is just going to bring up a lot of that pain that they felt beforehand, a lot, that empty hole in a sense that they've been kind of filling with their Uncle Jesse, with Joey, and with Danny. Like it opens up more trauma because now you're going to be afraid of somebody just literally just not being there one day. Did they die or did they leave? We don't know because now it's happened to us twice and it's happened to us in two different ways. So I agree with you. It's a really messed up way of doing it. At the other end, I also understand Jesse. Like Jesse feels like he needs to do this thing for himself. And he knows himself well enough to know that if he were to say anything to Danny or Joey, they would try and talk him out of it. Maybe not Joey so much. I feel like Joey's more the mature type to like let him do it and just be like, go out for a bit, take time, figure out what you feel is best for you. And, if you need anything, let us know. Like that's a very Joey thing to do. I can see even Danny realistically being that supportive type, but still also kind of leading that conversation to you should stay though. You should at least say goodbye to the girls thing. And that's what he didn't want because he knows that by talking to the girls, he would not leave. He loves those girls. He doesn't want to leave, but he wants to leave, if that makes any sense. It's like he's reaching out for that kid he was, for that man he was right before he came, for that carefree guy who didn't have any responsibility that he was before he left. And that person who he was before would have left in that way any other time. He's chasing after something that he's not really anymore. And realistically, this 2-part episode thing is him figuring out who he is now compared to who he was then. This is a piece of the old Joey or the old Jesse that isn't really a part of him now, that's manifesting now because he's afraid of losing that part of himself.
Yeah, no, well said. I do. I agree. I feel for the girls in this moment. I also understand in this situation, sometimes the decision you make can be nothing other than impulsive because you've been sitting with it for so long and it has snowballed into having a reaction that just it's a lot. Like something he just burst, and I do think it's messed up, but I do hold space for just how he's feeling, because let me tell you, I would not be in this situation, but if you put me in this situation, I can't even attend a family function and hold it together sober. Like I don't like, families freak me out. So I totally understand Jesse in this situation where he's a little freaked out, but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, do we have a not in my house moment?
Ooh.
I mean, we never went to Disneyland when I was growing up, so that never happened in my house. And if there was a situation where we were going to go somewhere fun, because there were a few amusement parks that we would go to, but it was also East Coast, so, you don't go very often because, the winters. But if there was a situation, and I do remember various situations where something would come up, there will be no rescheduling. It's very much like that one Dane Cook skit where he talks about how he never went to Benson's and he always had to hear Benson's isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
but it went somewhere. So that, and I never made a Build-A-Bear. I never got to the American Girl store.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway.
No, look, if it helps any, the last two, never got those either. We did get Disneyland once. That was only because we lived in the vicinity. We were living, I believe we were still living in the San Diego area. That's why I was thinking San Diego the first time when we had talked about it earlier. I was thinking San Diego. We were living in San Diego at that time. That's the only reason why we went. Realistically, my mom is a single mom. There's 5 of us. If it was a plane trip, there's no way we would have went. It wouldn't have happened. So not in my house. All them kids on a plane.
Yep. Nah. I'm sorry. Sometimes that's just the reality. And I do want to make sure we're being clear that this is not all households of
ours.
This is just our households. We don't want to paint a certain picture
one.
Here.
We have very specific dynamics in ours. Your dynamics might be different. These are just ours.
Yeah. These are these are for those of us with alternative households. There is no specific anything associated with them.
Exactly.
But yeah, not in my house. So an hour get the violins moment.
I'm going to say when Jesse was pouring his heart out. That's the first time we've seen Jesse really open up, even though Joey took it as seriously as he kind of could have. I'm going to say that would be it. Because realistically, we get little peaks of Jesse's kind of soft side and being vulnerable and stuff, but this is the first time we really got a full open up of this is all the things I've been feeling. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though violins didn't actually play, because I don't think they did, right? During that conversation?
No, we got the violins at the very end when they did the to be continued portion and the girls walked in hey, where's Uncle Jesse? That's where the actual violins hit, that little ending do-do-do-do type of thing.
There were also violins when Danny was having that cheer up conversation with Steph, but I don't want to give that the get the violins moment.
Because it didn't work. They were just trying to make her not look sad anymore, not necessarily not be sad about it. If you wanted to get down to the fact of why she was sad about it, we would have talked about it. They just didn't want her to visibly show she was sad. That's why the tickle monster was a thing.
Yeah, which was, and everybody knows why she was sad. It's just disappointing and it sucks and it's not what you want to experience when you're a kid.
I kind of want to give that the not in my house moment because low key, I was one, all of us realistically were known for if you start tickling us, just know that you better get out of the way of the feet because we are going to try and kick you. Just period. My goal is to kick you across the room.
Don't tickle me because I will, I'm not a violent person, but tickling is how the Hulk is unleashed and I will body slam you. I don't know where it comes from, but I do. Tickling just makes me violent.
As a kid, I had a really weak bladder, so my siblings loved to tickle me until I peed myself. So it got to a point eventually where I was just you know what, I'm just kind of done being ticklish. I don't know at what point it did happen, but I just know that at one point somebody tried to tickle me. I was yeah, that don't tickle.
That was after you lost your sense of wonder.
Man, you know what? That siblings will do that to you. Let that be a lesson. Siblings will take away that sense of wonder to a lot of things.
And our full stop. Are there any moments from the episode that did not age well?
Jesse just disappearing. I'm not going to hold you. If we were doing two things that hold the same energy, it would be Jesse just not being there in the morning and someone's dad leaving to go get milk and not coming back.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's giving,
It really is. It's the same energy. It's the exact same energy. You got 3 kids at home. It's okay. I'm just going to take my shit and go. I'm on vacation. What?
Yeah, no, it's correct. I think I'm trying to think about any other moments, but that's probably one that's not aging well because it's just that brings up so many conversations that have come up since then. So yeah, it kind of does have a little bit of a not aging that well type of thing. So I'll agree there.
Yeah.
And our last one, a dad like Danny.
I mean, look, we didn't really have any of those like heart to heart Danny moments this episode. So if we gonna give it to anything, it's just gonna be Danny being willing to take all those girls on a plane to Disneyland and then deal with them for the whole day.
Yeah, just him and Joey, you know, and yeah, I do think that the planning of the trip is like a really awesome thing to do for your kids because, like we were talking about, it's not an easy thing to do, especially nowadays. Oh my God, parents out there, if you are taking your kids anywhere, it is just so expensive.
Bless
if
your
you have multiple,
soul, because buying Disneyland tickets at this point is like buying airline tickets. They like to up the price depending on how many people are interested that day. It's so crazy.
It's really unfair. It's so unfortunate to see people getting priced out of Disneyland, especially people who you see love Disney. I know that Disney doesn't care about these things, but I feel for the families who...
You know what? Nah. No, we need to talk about this because, look, I took my niece to Disneyland for her graduation. She wanted to get those the Mickey Mouse ears, right? Like, you know, you go into the little booth, they come in a bunch of different types, right? A bunch of different colors, themes, all types. Why are they $35?
Hun, trust you.
Nah,
we all feel you.
Look, coming from somebody who definitely went as a kid, I was like maybe 8 years old. They were $10 at the time. I'm not that old, I promise you.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You know, it's so disappointing because those little things are what make it what it is. And like, even just to survive
just cardboard.
The day.
It's cardboard and fabric.
I agree. It's really sad. And I do love, a friend of mine from childhood had come and visited me and we went to Universal and that was also fun. But yeah, on that particular day, and I apologize if this is going to get me into any trouble or anything, but they didn't have any freaking Mario hats. Like, they were out park wide. And I was like,
oh, wow.
What? How do you do? Or Luigi? Like, how is that possible? It's disappointing when stuff like that happens. It's disappointing when you go there and you want to try something and then it's like $50 and it's just not fair. So I hope that
the wonder that Disneyland was when we were kids, I feel like it's not there anymore. Realistically, now it's super expensive. You're spending more at the park than you do on the hotel, even if you're not staying at the hotel that's immediately there. Like the lines, oh my God, standing in line for 2.5 hours for a ride is crazy. Standing in line for 2.5 hours to then be told that half of the carts on that ride have broken down since you started in line, and that has now doubled your waiting time again, is even crazier. Like, it's coming from someone who used to love Disneyland, someone who's even still now a Disney fan. Disneyland is not what it used to be. All it is lines, heat, and lines. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, all the things, and stay tuned for the next episode. Until then, this is Dax.
And Em reminding you
to lock your doors.
The week got away from me. Was it Monday yesterday? I swear it was.